Hi, hello, namaste to all my listeners. I'm your host Sarthak Varshney, and I welcome you all to the Balls of Steel show, where you get an insight into the business mindset of the entrepreneurs. Dhandho ni Soch. Our today's guest is Mr. Kumar Mayank. Hi, Mayank.
Hi Sarthak,
How are you?
doing good. How about you?
I'm good. It's a hot day, but the weather is coming down, so it's pretty good out there.
Yep.
And I guess it's the same with you.
Yes, hoping that rain should fall.
Same here. Okay, so Mayank, what is the business that you're doing because of which we're gonna say that you've got the balls of steel?
Well, actually, the business I'm doing is a multifold one. We call
Okay,
ourselves as a fintech SaaS for small medium enterprises and their employees. So, what is a fintech
okay.
SaaS? So, basically, it's a SaaS solution, a cloud-based solution. We are in the
Mm-hmm.
space of HR tech, so we have
Mm-hmm.
HRMS payroll solution, and over which the fintech part is that we offer payday loans, insurance, and other financial solutions to the employees who are on the platform. The business, when I say the bigger question is, we are in the business of rather making available credit to this segment which nobody was catering to. So there's a bigger chunk in the country that even banks and other financial institutes don't cater to, which is the SME employee, because the company is not private limited, or because the employee himself is not that does not have that big a salary. Nobody caters to him, but this segment has
Mm-hmm.
a PF account, has gets a salary, and wants to live a life of dignity. So we
Mm-hmm.
are the people who help him get his dreams. So he wants his kids to get an education. We give him education loan. He wants to take an insurance. We give him the insurance. He wants to save. He wants to invest. We are there for him. So
Okay,
yeah, that is the business we are in.
okay. That's nice. That's really nice. Okay, so let's get deeper into this journey, Mayank. And why don't you start from the very starting point where you decided to get in the business, and the very starting point of yours, and to the current point at which you are. Give us everything in detail.
Okay. So the dream, of course, lies from my schooling days. I wanted to, start something of my own. It's just that I wanted to learn a lot of skills on the way. So there are two ways to look at it. Either you can connect the dot backwards, or in my case, had taken up, I had picked up industries so that I could actually follow up on my dream, right? So I joined banking. I wanted to understand financial institute. It was something that I want. It was of interest to me, and I wanted to pursue that. Uh, and when I joined microfinance, I saw that opportunity, and in microfinance, I realized that there's a, as I was saying, that a majority of segment in the country uh, where nobody was keen to lend, or nobody was very um, upbeat about this segment. But this segment, I mean, look at the current migrant crisis, right?
Mm-hmm.
uh, they need this credit, they need money to survive, they need uh, insurance to cover themselves in case something happens as a sole breadwinner to the company, to their family, right? So this was a altruist thought which I had way back in 2017. The detailing of the story starts that because this is a very uh, capital heavy industry, I took some loan, right? I had a proper corporate job. I was earning some multi lakh salary a month. I got a good loan, and the thing is, the I just paid off my education loan a month back,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, okay, now my credit score looks fine again. Let me just take another one. So it started with a with a crore worth of debt, that I said that okay, this is my idea, and the idea just told about that what Zimyo does.
Mm-hmm.
I found a partner because HR tech I was not from. My partner Ajay was from the industry. He has built a lot of tech, so he's the first guy I reached out to start this because the idea was it was like both the SaaS and the fintech. So fintech I knew about, but the SaaS bit I need people, I need tech, I needed tech rather. So that was
Mm-hmm.
the journey. Uh,
Hmm.
with that loan, I came back to, so this company I was working was in Chennai. I came back to Gurgaon, uh, got my partner to quit his job. uh,
Hmm.
27-year-old guy with a crore worth of debt and zero product on day zero. So we started building the product, and it took us around a year. 2018 October, the product went live. We started handing it out completely free of cost because it is like the it was like we wanted to subsidize the SaaS so that we can get SMBs on board, and with SMBs, SMB employees on board. So when they would be on board, we would be able to cross sell our financial solutions. But that didn't turn out exactly how we had planned. So
Hmm.
we priced it up again. 2018 to 2020, now 1.5 year later, we have now around 200 companies, around 32,000 employees are using the platform. It was, I mean, every day is a story on its own. I would rather request Sarthak, you will have to ask me. The detailing of the story is that there were a lot of engines, there were a lot of things we built during the process. So uh, I will request you to ask me certain things because the journey itself is, there were so many things I wish I could cover it in the time we have together.
Hmm. No, 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 don't, no, no worries. We'll be covering a lot of things, and talking to you actually makes me realize that you have actually gone through a lot. And I would love to know that, and I'll try to, pull out as much as I can, because I want the
That
listeners to
should be the
know this
idea.
journey. I want the listeners to know this journey. Okay, so as much as I've got right now, and if I go back and start from the point, you always had this mindset of learning since your childhood. That is what you told us,
Yep,
right? So, and then you got into banking, and then in banking and the microfinance sector, and then you had a job in the similar sector, and then you decided.
yep.
So, when you had to make this decision, and you always had to you're always on the spree of learning. So what is the exact mindset, and what would you like to say that, when you don't know about entrepreneurship yet,
Yep.
and you know that you have to learn about it and then dive into it? So what was the your mindset when you decided कि यार अब मेरे को job तो है और मुझे सीखना भी पड़ेगा, but then there's a I have to dive into it, and मुझे सीख के ये काम करना है.
There was
So how did you convince yourself कि ठीक है, let's take up this journey?
no
First thing that's the.
journey was much easier if you have already done the rigor in your life. तो
Hmm.
I'll take a step back and said कि आप
Hmm.
हमेशा से ये सीखने का वो था. तो I'll give you a background.
Sure.
2007, I just joined college, and it was economic
Hmm.
honors Delhi University. It's one of the toughest courses. Till
Hmm.
then, I said that tech is going to be the future. ठीक है, I have to learn tech so that I don't miss out on any opportunity that will come, because I had this thought in mind कि मुझे सीखना पड़ेगा. तो by the time in 2017, like 10 years later, when I actually took the plunge, there were a lot of
Hmm.
homeworks that were done, right? And I believe that everyone should be doing it. See,
Hmm.
looking back, everyone can say that because you took that GNIT course, so you could form a tech company, being a finance guy, right? A commerce guy. I did 12th in commerce, right? And we run a
Okay.
proper HR tech SaaS. So
Right.
it cannot happen without a good engineering background. But imagine somebody sitting in 2007, and I'll tell you how the
Hmm.
day looks. As I said, that entire day will be a story. So let me just take that story, that leaf out of that story. Any
Right.
day in 2007, morning 5 o'clock, I would get up. 6 o'clock, I used to have my, I used to take this GNIT course. So it used to run by 6 to 8. So
Okay.
5:30, I would get on a bus, early morning bus. One would come, and like right now, I'm in Delhi is much luckier. There are metros, there are a lot of cabs and many other things. But there is were the most affordable and reachable options. So 6 o'clock, you were there. 6 to 8. By the time my GNIT course would get over, I had to go back to my college. Uh, Peak hour, you can imagine bus coming from Hodge Khas to Kalkaji. That's where my college was. You
Right.
would actually were on the, just hanging on that latch, that door latch that the DTC or
Right.
Blue Line has, and people are stuffing in it. You can't imagine that summer heat, and you are looking that no, this is my course, I have to do it. 2 o'clock, you would get free because the course, of course, the college goes on till 4, but you have to reach to another course at 4 o'clock, because I used to take tuitions. Rather, I
Hmm.
used to teach, more pocket money
Okay.
thought. So again,
Okay.
yeah, so 2 o'clock you would again get on a bus, summer heat again. That latch used to be so burning. By the time I used to reach to Dhola Kuan, and I'm just taking in a day's time the kilometers I'm traveling apart from studying. So Dhola Kuan,
Right.
you used to take class 6, it used to get over 7. My cat coaching used to happen in Connaught Place, that is career launcher, and so I had to like take another 1.5 hour. And anyone remembers Blue Line and DTC buses, then it used to be like so slog. So
Right.
again, that heat, by the time I used to get in my class, it was so exhausting. I mean, and the hands would have just like burnt enough to not even be able to write, right? That kind of slogging way back in 2007 to be where you are today. So I mean, luckily cat happened, I got good percentile, got into IM, things happened. But I mean, people, there's a lot of bashing on the LinkedIn, and everyone says that, just because this guy was from a pedigree institute, he would have got this funding or many other things. But you can't imagine the rigor that would have happened way back like 10 years. I can imagine. And when you reach back, so last bus used to be from 10 to 11. So it used to take me another 1.5, 2 hours to reach back to Kalkaji from Connaught Place. That is the time when I actually used to practice what all I had learned uh, uh, from the 10 to
Yeah.
the entirety day. I mean, I'm sorry, just got lost in the thought.
No, no, no.
So
So it's okay. It's okay. So I mean, I remember that you were telling us that you can start from the part that there was a lot of bashing on LinkedIn that
yeah.
this guy was from this part and he would have got the funding and stuff. So your network just went away. So you can start from there itself.
Yes, I wanted to say that, there's a lot of, uh, when I say bashing, I mean, people pick on, pedigree people. So a lot of the startup founders are from IITs and IIMs, and people pick on them that, maybe they got a good job, or maybe they got a good, they got funding because your degree plays a role. I'm saying
Hmm.
that, can you imagine somebody slogging like this 10 hours, 10 years before to get to the place he has today, right? And imagine this whole journey. We are talking
Hmm.
about some 10 years of continuous effort. Like, it's just not today that the startup has happened. My
Hmm.
work ethic has been so, I mean, has been consistent for the past 10 years. It's the same morning 6 o'clock you start, and the same, night 2 o'clock the work runs. And so that trigger got to me when even I was taking the plunge. I was very clear that I have done my homework, I know tech, I understand product management well. I have handled, and the last portfolio I was managing was about 7,000 crores. So that confidence was already in me that I can manage large businesses, 600 people. So even how to manage people. So
Right.
I would say, but again, when you start, nothing can be, can get you as prepared to actually, uh, from that trigger to a startup trigger. This takes the whole, uh, it's a whole different level altogether. So startup, I had to learn a lot. So the debt that I'm talking about, I used to actually spend heavily on internet to learn HubSpot, Slack, many tools that my team currently uses. In fact, we are one of
Right.
the, with 10 people, we are serving 200 clients. I mean, you can't imagine the automations that are built in place for lead generation, ticketing engine, customer support, all built by the learning aptitude that we as a company have built, right? So I mean, the many parts of the discussion that will never come up. But imagine, you are out of the funds, right? There is a
Hmm.
banker, there's a collection guy from a bank banging on your door every day that, your credit cards are have to be paid, or maybe a loan is outstanding. And I mean, you have to keep your head down. The work will pay, the debt will be paid off, and still continue slogging every day till all these things make, worthwhile, I mean, turn something fruitful.
Okay. This is just one day that we have talked about. I can only imagine how many days there would have been. And I would love to, unfold many of those leaves and get to that deeper journey because
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is actually sounding very, very inspiring and interesting to me, I would say. Okay, so this was when we talked about your learning part, and what you told us right now. With that, I can completely understand that before you started, you actually learned pretty much almost everything around the part around which you wanted to start. Irrespective, I'm not counting the entrepreneurial journey right now, but the product that you wanted to deliver, the service that you wanted to
Exactly.
deliver, and you had all the experience in, be it from the job sector, be it from your slogging part and all those things. So you were pretty much prepared that I've learned this and then I can jump. So
Yep.
that is one thing that you did. Okay,
Can
so
I just take a minute to say, because
sure.
this lot, I want the story to be like somebody who's hearing it to know this as an inspiring anecdotes for them. So people, a
Hmm,
lot of people have this thought that, let me just quit college, let me just quit school and start something. Everyone is a dropout. It does not happen like
right.
that. People even who have dropped out, they would have learned something else. You will go to jobs and study their journey. So learning has to be there. What I'm trying to emphasize, if somebody's gonna listen to this sometime later in the years, please have those skills ready that you would be needing for your entrepreneurial journey, indifferent if you pursue it from college or formal institute or not. Yeah, sorry, back to you, Sarthak.
Thank you, thank you. No, this was very important because uh I have actually personally seen on the very same note that for many people being an entrepreneur looks good, but when I talk to them, you know what they tell me कि यार मेरे को करना business है but I have no clue what to do business in.
Okay.
And when I talk to you and other entrepreneurs, the best thing that is actually coming out is, and when I look at even myself, we are trying to build business out of what we have loved. So as you
Exactly.
told that you joined banking and you had an interest into microfinance, and then you were able to find a problem in that sector and now you're catering to that problem,
Exactly.
right? And similarly, if I talk about myself, I have seen that, okay, I used to love photography and I used to love those things, and I've developed my skill set over the period of time. Even in my college days, in my school days, I've done this repeatedly over the years, so I know the ins and outs. That's why I can
Exactly.
do the business right now. When I talk, and similarly, there are many entrepreneurs who are there, who are in their journey, but they know the shit. That is why
Exactly.
they're doing it, right? So I guess what you're telling right now becomes very, very important, that everyone needs to figure out what they love before they just jump into it and say that, okay, I'm an entrepreneur, I'll be an entrepreneur. That's shit. That's bullshit.
That's
And you
completely.
would actually end up failing even hell many times than you could have failed if you put your time into learning skill set and then going out there.
Yes, yes. I think it's worth the effort, right? And yeah, imagine somebody who has just, for the namesake of it, started his own startup, right? He can't
Right,
compete with the likes of someone who's passionate about his dream, like Sarthak, you or maybe me, right? Imagine
right.
I was talking about, like, I took commerce. I had 96% in 10th. I mean, I come from a place, like, I come from Bihar, right? People are
Hmm.
judge you if you don't take science, right? So
Right.
imagine somebody taking commerce, economic honors, following up with a MBA from IIMS,
Hmm.
and the banking journey, microfinance, fintech. I mean, you can actually see the passion across the years. Somebody just entering the field and, you know fighting against me with no passion at all. I mean, he is really for some competition. I mean, I wouldn't dare do it. I know people who are veterans, who have spent like 50 years uh, doing this right from their college years to now, and I'm competing against them. So even my persuasion about what I'm doing uh, is has to be very strong, or else I will never be able to survive in the market.
Right.
Just adding to the
Right.
point, Sarthak, I mean, you can take it ahead.
No, 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 no. This is important. This is exactly what I want to know from your mindset, because it becomes important that we also know that to against whom are we competing in the market. There are many veterans out there, and we also need to understand the market. And I guess that is what is also called market research.
Yep.
Before we're stepping into any sort of industry, we need to have a market research at what is the competition doing and whatever is happening. So yeah, that it becomes really important. And with what you said, it's a very, very supportive statement in that matter. Okay, so going ahead, I want to talk about the very same point you raised right now, that you're from Bihar, and the people call upon you when you don't take sciences. So probably your family is also from Bihar. So what was the environment and what was the mindset like when you came out of Bihar, studied in DU, saw the exposure out there, and if your family is also from Bihar, I don't know, maybe I'm right or maybe I'm wrong.
You're
So
right.
what was the exposure like? What was the family background like? What was the family support like? What was their mindset
Well,
when you started
I
this and
see
all this thing
generally,
happened?
I will put a thought to anyone who's gonna hear this. See,
Hmm.
where you start might not be in your hand, right? But where you would want to end is always in your hand, right? So
Right.
my father might have a vision that I would want to educate my son with the best of educations, and he would support you financially, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
you would also know there are a lot of your cousins, friends who wouldn't make good use of that opportunity and maybe come back there, right? So for me,
Hmm.
I could have also, it's very easy thing to just not pursue and just be ordinary, right?
Hmm.
uh, I would rather say that it was very easy for me to just be any, like just take a normal job, and people prefer out there to take a government or sarkari job and be just happy with it. I mean, it's like some achievement out there. But
Hmm.
you have got your own dream and you have got to protect it. That is what I thought. I
Hmm.
wanted to make a dent those courses, and I can't get into the financial specifics of it. But
Hmm.
imagine running coachings. Being
Hmm.
IT course was expensive compared to my time, and I was taking tuitions just to financially support not myself, my dream. Right? I could have very well said that economic honor is good, and I'll make a good job out of it. Maybe end up in Indian Economic Services. These are like good to have dreams, but would that be what I how I would want to end my like career, or look back after 20 years down the line that yes, I settled for it? No, I wanted what I wanted to do. So all the journey, uh it is uncomparable. I mean, if I compare to the place I belong, and people out there, they are still not even dreaming about it, right? I know there are a lot of bunch of SaaS folks sitting in Tamil Nadu who are thinking that we are going to take Indian SaaS global and make a dent out of it. I have that dream,
Hmm.
right? I want
Hmm.
to put this Zimyo as a like a benchmark in a global uh, fintech SaaS ecosystem, right? That dream
Hmm.
does not come to many people, and just because you mentioned part of that, uh, where I come from, people might have as well, and I'm no one to judge that, but uh, IAS or maybe civil services is what the best aim for. So someone with this a passion that we are going to build something that is going to put India in the global map. That vision was not, I mean, it was unheard of. And right now, I mean, I serve as, I consult a lot of startups, entrepreneurs out there to have this dream at least. So unless you have that dream, you won't be able to reach it. Lot of struggle, but I can't put to word like exactly. It's, I think if you put a lot of struggle to words, it vilifies the effort that would have gone. So Sarthak, you will have to excuse me on it. But
No
this
worries.
this journey, of course, is very different for me.
No worries, no worries. Okay, so Mayank, like at this point you also know, and since you are into consulting entrepreneurs, बहुत सारे entrepreneurs का एक प्रॉब्लम होती है कि रिश्तेदार आके भसड़ मचाने लग जाते हैं कि
बिल्कुल।
है ना कि यार आप ये कर लो, आप ये कर लो। तो आपके कभी ऐसे नहीं हुआ कि बिहार से कॉल आ रहा है कि यार आई एम सॉरी, हमारा बेटा ये कर रहा है या उनका बेटा वो कर रहा है। तुम्हारे यहाँ से ऐसा कभी हुआ है कि किसी ने ये किया है? बिकॉज़ दैट इज़ द कल्चर दैट honestly even I have heard of for Bihar. I can be super wrong, but that is what I've heard. तो आपके साथ ऐसा कभी हुआ नहीं? Like didn't you get this experience or
यार
something?
एक्चुअली अ, मेरे पास जो आता है मैं तो मदद कर देता हूँ यार, मतलब सार्थक, एंड आई
अच्छा,
मीन आई कंसल्ट लॉट ऑफ स्टार्टअप्स इन दिल्ली. माय
हाँ जी,
विजन इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग. आई रियली विश लॉट ऑफ Indian entrepreneurs, and right now that tussle between China and India is going on. I would just want to put to context कि यार
हाँ
why
जी,
you are defying like uh, not to source goods from a separate country. Why are you not planning to build it yourself? तो मुझे
हुँ,
ऐसा लगता है कि कोई भी entrepreneur अगर कुछ करना चाह रहा है and he's has a vision to take this country like leap forward, yeah, I support
हुँ,
him indifferent of where he is. We are like Sarthak as a company also, we are very agnostic about religion, creed, geographies. We have
हुँ,
tried to build a global culture. और जितनी भी टीम मेंबर्स हैं अभी, वो सारा
हुँ,
मतलब दे आर ऑफ द सेम थॉट प्रोसेस. So I was lucky
ओके।
in finding the same people who dream that well and who are as agnostic as I am on building a great company.
Okay,
and
okay,
supporting other
that's
entrepreneurs on the way too.
That's nice. That's nice. Okay, so now coming ahead in time, जब आपने, when you were planning to quit this job and you found your friend just who knew the HR tech, and you came back to Gurgaon and you made him quit the job. So what was the mindset then like? Because as you said, 27-year-old, a crore of debt. उसके बाद भी you had enough guts to tell your friend that we will make this idea work, asking him to quit the job. What was that scenario like? And what was the mindset at that point of time कि ठीक है अब हम इसको कैसे बढ़ाएंगे? What was the strategy then?
यार एक्चुअली क्या होता है ना कि हम जब अपने जैसे मैं भी अपने कॉर्पोरेट जॉब में था तो यू सी अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल अराउंड एंड आई यूज्ड टू बी
Right,
द गाय जो ऑफिस की पार्टियां भी होस्ट करता था तो उससे कॉलेज ऑफिस आई वाज लाइक द गाय हु कुड अट्रैक्ट पीपल जब मैंने अपना स्टार्टअप
right.
किया ना द फर्स्ट रियलाइजेशन यू विल गेट इज देयर आरंट मेनी पीपल अराउंड ठीक है तो ऐसा नहीं है कि मैंने बस एक फ्रेंड को पूछा मैंने बहुतों को
हाँ,
पूछा मैंने कहा यार तुम्हें जो चाहिए सैलरी चाहिए क्या चाहिए आप बताओ हम अरेंज करेंगे बट हम साथ में करेंगे और क्या होता है ना
हाँ.
क्यों मैं बोर्डिंग स्कूल में पढ़ा हूँ सो आई स्टडीड इन सिंधिया ग्वालियर तो होता क्या है
Okay.
कि वहाँ पे ना एक कल्चर आपको बिल्ड हो जाता है कि इफ मुझे कुछ चाहिए ना और मेरा दोस्त मेरे पीछे खड़ा है तो फिर मैं सोचता नहीं हूँ ज्यादा तो मेरे
हम्म,
पास काफी दोस्त है मेरे इनफैक्ट बैंक से तो मुझे 40 लाख ही मिला मेरे बाकी दोस्तों ने मुझे बाकी 50-60 लाख रुपए और दिए कि
wow.
वाह
Okay.
मतलब ये सोचो कि you are not committing anything अगर नहीं हो और and these guys are like earning what like maybe at best at a lakh a month और
हम्म,
वहां पे ट्रस्ट कर रहे हैं कि यार जो होगा ठीक है तेरे पे भरोसा है नहीं होगा तो नहीं होगा
हम्म,
तो
हम्म.
दैट वाज डिफाइनिंग पॉइंट कन्विंस करने के लिए तो यार मुझे ज्यादा मेहनत नहीं करनी पड़ी आई वाज ब्लेस्ड मेरे पास बहुत अच्छे लोग हैं इनफैक्ट व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड ऑल माय सिक्स बॉसेस सो आई हैड वर्कड इन फोर कंपनीज विद सिक्स बॉसेस ऑल माय सिक्स बॉसेस ऑफर्ड कि मैं हमें तुम्हें इन्वेस्ट करना है तो मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस अलग ही था जब मैंने स्टार्ट किया
Oh, wow.
एंड इनफैक्ट टू ऑफ माय बॉसेस इन्वेस्टेड डे जीरो मैंने उनको अभी हम एंजल कर चुके हैं और शायद अभी हम सीड करेंगे आई थिंक सो विल बी 60x मतलब 60 times
Wow.
आई मेड द मनी एंड आई एक्चुअली रोट अ मेल टू देम कि अगर मैं स्टार्टअप नहीं चलेगा तो मैं आपको वापस भी करूंगा
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ.
तो लकी था कि अ, बहुत बार मेहनत बहुत लोग बहुत अच्छा स्टार्टअप करते हैं और उनको इतना सपोर्ट नहीं मिलता तो मुझे बहुत सपोर्ट मिला एंड काम भी
And what
मिला
about the co-founder? What about the co-founder? What did he say and what was his mindset like?
oh the Ajay had a kid
Right,
he was
right.
too uh, he was little hesitant तो
हाँ, हाँ.
हर पहले मैं आया वापस हमने हर सैटरडे संडे वो आता था ऑफिस डेज पे भी आ जाता था आफ्टर ऑफिस
हम्म,
फिर आई सेड यार ऐसे नहीं हो पाएगा यू विल हैव टू डू इट तो पैसे आ नहीं रहे थे तभी तक तो प्रोडक्ट बन रहा था अक्टूबर 18 तक तो हम प्रोडक्ट बना रहे थे जॉब छोड़ के आ गया था
हम्म,
मैं अगस्त 17 में
हम्म.
तो इसमें कोई मैथ्स नहीं है जिस दिन मैंने बोला उसने दोबारा नहीं सोचा फिर मतलब पेपर पहले डाले और काम तो वो हर दिन हमारे साथ ही कर रहा था
अच्छा.
कन्विंस करना देखो अगर मुझे तो ऐसा लगता है लाइफ में हर चीज मतलब दोस्ती भी ना जीरो वन होती है तो है नहीं है
हम्म,
तो नहीं है तो मैंने ऐसा कहा
हम्म,
मैंने जिन जिन को बोला वो सब छोड़ कर आए जिनसे पैसे
हम्म.
मांगा किसी मना नहीं किया एंड गुड ना जिन जो नहीं करने वाले थे वो भी पता चल गए लाइफ में
Right.
आपके साथ भी हुआ होगा सार्थक ये मेरे साथ नहीं है
Definitely, definitely. I have also been through the journey, and I am going through that journey as well. So I know these things that I'm experiencing. Where sometimes I do ask people, so people give me a yes, some people give me a no for the money. That happens, and with that said, when I talk about this thing, where I have some plans of scaling up, and I have some other projects also going on with a couple of friends. So when working on those projects also gives me insight, कौन कितना काम कर सकता है, कैसा कर सकता है. Those things start turning up. So
बिल्कुल
that not only
और
brings right.
नहीं नहीं मैं ये कह रहा था कि आप इस जर्नी में ये भी पता करते हैं कि देखो कैपेबिलिटी फाइनेंशियल भी सबके पास है
Hmm.
विलिंगनेस
Hmm.
इज व्हाट कम्स आउट व्हेन यू स्टार्ट अप विलिंगनेस अबाउट योर फ्रेंड्स योर पीयर्स फैमिली कौन कितना साथ है आपके यू वुड हैव रियलाइज दैट
Definitely, definitely. I have realized that. I have realized that. मतलब वो तो होता ही होता है, and साथ साथ you also get to I also get to see कि how much capacity does that person has to grow, because and that brings out the mindset कि यार आपके पास vision है या नहीं है. For example, let's say if Ajay didn't share the vision, then probably you might have to find someone else,
Yep, true,
right?
true.
So this also comes to a very important factor, that the vision and everything needs to line up. And as you also said that you're lucky to find those team members, so even I have some team members who align with my vision, who come and tell me ki, okay, nahi, I want to work with you. So
बिल्कुल.
that is something that actually escalates even me as an entrepreneur ki, it's not majorly for me, but I have to do it for them as well.
Yeah, of course. And they have given their, apart from time and money, they have given their youth to you to build your
Right,
startup, right? And there were
right.
days in which we couldn't pay months of salary, right? And they didn't quit on me. So, I mean, why wouldn't I reward them? Why wouldn't you reward them? Anyone would. क्योंकि वैसे भी लाइफ में अच्छे लोग मिलते नहीं हैं. And to have them and to work with them, I mean, this was one of the things in my mind when I started up. Like, I would want to
Hmm.
work with the people uh, I mean, I can see growing old with. This was my thought. One of the thoughts that when I started.
Wow. Okay. That's
Every
nice.
morning you come to office and you feel so good. Even on, I
Hmm.
mean, we have a morning 10 o'clock on Zoom, and everyone
Right.
is like, I mean, Monday morning is like we are so happy about meeting each other again.
So it means you don't have the Monday blues wala thing.
No, man. I mean, the day I would feel, that was my theory, and why I switched 4 jobs in like 4 years was the day I feel like I don't want to come to office. I just used to put down my paper. That was my thought always.
Wow, 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 wow. Okay, okay. ठीक है. So let's go ahead in this journey and talk about the point where you started with this thing and those things started coming up. So it took you an year to get the product out. So why don't you tell me, give me some insight about this year, because जो ये एक साल probably आपने I don't know how many team members did you have. So why don't you give me some insight that how many team members did you have? How did you manage the exact funding out there? Was it still on bootstrap, or you were loaning
या
the money out
बूटस्ट्रैप
there?
लोन. और पहले तो कॉर्पोरेट से आए थे तो आदत वही थी, सीधे
हाँ,
बरिस्ता बैठ करके कॉफी पीने के लिए क्लाइंट के साथ. फिर
right,
फिर समझ में आया कि क्लाइंट्स भी 4-5 बार टाइम लेते हैं, मे बी अ मंथ 2 मंथ, सो यू कांट बी स्पेंडिंग दैट हेवली.
right,
Initially we started with 2 people, me and Ajay. We
right.
had another one join on day zero itself. He was the one coding.
Hmm.
Then another one in half a month's time when more concrete plans happened. And not that we didn't pivot, right? As I said कि हमने 2-3 solutions एक साथ बनाए थे, ठीक है?
Okay.
So Zimyo was more on HR tech, background verification, and there was a third piece also on the automated
Hmm.
payouts, something.
Right.
हुआ क्या कि the more we started focusing on, and it will happen with everyone whoever starts, like pivots will happen, and you will
Right.
start getting narrow focused on what you want to do in some time, right? So
Right.
the people who joined on different thoughts, that fintech was a lead, they
Hmm.
eventually couldn't support us much. So there were some of
Hmm.
my friends also who joined, but then we narrowed down to the HR tech and HRMS space. Then we got
Hmm.
the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and right now we are around 15 people. In 15 people, we have raised an angel. As I said, in 15 people, we have got
Hmm.
200 clients and so many companies serving. And this is everyone's working at stretch for the past, the duration they have been in the company. On the journey
Okay.
front, the financial front, this was much difficult. By the time we launched the product, we had just not washed away all our uh, the debt we had taken, the money in my savings and everyone's. Uh,
Hmm.
we were actually down by some 20 lakhs again by the time we had raised funding. So those days used to
Okay.
be very tough. You have to, there's a investor pitch, and again those days what you used to have in college, ki you are not even in a financial situation to take a cab and go. So you have taken a metro in that heat. You're walking to on the streets and you're wearing this suit and you're all sweaty, right? I mean,
Right.
it's a very different emotion. I can't tell, how financial support is, absence of financial support is very crippling to anyone, right? And then still be following your passion, and not just, and to ensure your team also, supports you while this struggle happens. That was very different. So they were very supportive. As I said, that nobody pestered me much on the salaries front.
Hmm.
There used to be like
Hmm.
months, couple of months in which the salaries were delayed. Now it goes by one. So one mean one. And the team who had stayed with and them, their salaries are like 3x, 4x. So from what they
Wow.
had joined, right? And equity. So equity also, I mean, the equity that half a person I would have lent out to them uh, might be just half a crore now, right? So right, so they've made their money for the struggles, and people have worked like Saturdays, Sundays. Imagine nobody has money, and we are looking that client has asked us to go to Noida, and we are thinking like, okay, if we pool all our money, then we can get a cab. Let's make a pitch there, and then you go there and you make the pitch. You get the client. You are thinking now, okay, good. Now I have money to go back home. Like that kind of days, right? And it's not easy. I'm just telling you. And for Ajay, me, we had like very senior roles. So
Hmm.
I mean, I had a company, I mean, chauffeur-driven company, given car. So uh,
Hmm.
taking that bus again in 2018 to just meet, and summer heats used to be like in Delhi.
I
So
know.
yeah, and you can't imagine. I was like thinking in 2007, I've spent like half my life in these buses. It was not easy for me to go there again. And more things you find many a times you used to find people spotting you like standing on a metro, and they would say, "Yeah, why aren't you getting a car?" And you were like, "Dude, you know how much debt I am in? It's some 60s of lakhs, right?"
You can't even tell them कि
People
तुम्हें नहीं
and your
पता
friends won't
मैं
understand.
कैसे
So all
मैनेज
your
कर रहा हूँ.
yeah, all your IM batchmates and anyone who catches you like in one of these, I don't know, in a not so luxury
Hmm.
position, eating
Hmm.
out of a dhaba or wherever, but that is your new norm, and you have to live that. Uh, and then there are other emotional aspects to it. So you can be in struggle, but there's another employee who's got a kid, and that kid might be ill, and you have to pay for it. So you go back to your boss, say, "Sir, I need a little more money. Just this month, I'll pay you back
हाँ.
like twice, whatever you want. Just give me the money." And
हाँ.
it's very thin line in which you have never in your life had to like request someone for money, and now actually literally begging for it, like kind of that thought. It's very different, but you do it because you know you believe in your vision. There's people who are backing you. So earlier you could have given up if you were alone, but you now know that there are people who are with you in this journey, and they are not giving up on you. So
Right.
you have to get up every day, and even when everyone, the entire world is giving up on you, you have to stand on your feet and still pursue your dream. I think that is the miracle of it.
Right. I guess that is what actually drives someone with a great vision out there, and that is what has been driving. So I can clearly see that. Oh my God.
I know I should have been more vocal about it. Maybe as I said, a dhaba Hindi chat would have been better. But
Mhm.
it's the first time conversation. My
No,
apologies. I
no,
can't share those
no,
emotions,
no
but I hope
worries.
it I don't want anyone to listening to this think about that. This is just his journey. No, I mean you can come out with a multi crore of capital to start with, but eventually you will burn it down, and it's okay. This is part of the learning. Everyone goes through financial crunch. Everyone goes through people falling out. Everyone goes through cheated many a things. I mean, there are things I can't like actually tell about. Imagine I am grad, top AVP position, and sitting out of a police station 4 days a week just to sort out a false FIR that somebody has done on you. It is crumpling. It's heart
Why,
wrenching. But
why, why did that happen?
some of the client, he doesn't want to pay. He said, my data was stolen on SaaS, and you're saying that cloud is cloud. Your data gets stored there, but even because the police doesn't know that this is cloud data, they're like, why aren't you giving his data back? And this happens, and there are a lot of, so we deal in HR space, so there is uh, PF, Provident Fund. You have to deal with a lot of government regularities. It's not easy business to be
I
in
know,
HR,
I
and
know.
there are a lot of labor departments, many a things. It's I can tell you actually the dirty world of how this moves, but Let's, for the
No, no.
sanity of the discussion, say that it's not easy to deal with these government folks,
Right.
people, and who are just in there to, maybe I won't say harass, but make your life difficult. They don't
Hmm.
understand that, the kind of audacity, the kind of risk this guy has is just latching on, the kind of hope he is. They are just there, maybe for the cut, or maybe for their benefit. You don't know. And there are a lot of
Right.
partners you will meet, like a lot of uh, supposedly competition masquerading as clients, who will say,
Mm-hmm.
we want to have a look at your product, and they call you 10 times in their office, and you are giving at your earnest best, giving your demo to them, only to realize that they were just taking screenshots of your software to just put it in theirs. As I said, many of the things would be very heart wrenching, and you need real, as the discussion says, balls of steel to still put it
Right.
all behind you and come back all shattered in the night and say to yourself, may the better product, may the better person win. That is all I think every day.
My God. It's quite eventful journey. Oh my God. Okay, okay. No, I'll be coming back to this part, or maybe I might just even forget. So why don't you tell me this story, because this is a very intriguing story, and I can pull out a lot of stuff from this. So as you tell, that there are clients who come in as maybe clients, and then they are taking screenshots. So basically, this is nothing else but stealing of an idea, stealing of the software, and this is kind of a copyrightation, all those things. So आप इस पे कुछ मुझे आइडिया बताओ, गिव मी अ माइंडसेट कि डिडंट यू हैव दिस फियर कि अगर मेरा आइडिया बाहर चला
नहीं
गया
यार,
या
नहीं यार,
फिर
मुझे लगता है
कुछ हो
सबको भी
गया?
मैं ये कन्वे करना चाहूंगा यार, आइडिया इज penny wise. Like, you have to have a thought of abundance, and abundance says ki, what I say to myself, and you have to say to yourself, ki, may the better product, may the better idea, may the better execution, may the better person win. And you have to stick to that belief. क्योंकि कितना आप अवॉइड कर लो यार, ऐसा थोड़ी ना है
हम्म
कि मतलब कोक कोल्ड ड्रिंक, राइट? ऐसा नहीं कि उसके फेक
हम्म।
नहीं बनते, बिल्कुल बनते हैं, इंडिया में ही बनते हैं। देयर आर मेनी
हाँ
बॉटलिंग
जी।
कंपनीज, वो अपना कुछ मिक्सचर बना करके डाल देते हैं। सो दिस विल बी देयर।
राइट
The bigger you are, the more people trying to copy you out, right? You can't,
राइट राइट।
and you are fighting your own battle यार, आप दूसरों के पीछे क्यों जाओगे? Like, so there in Hindi there is a line I say कि uh, दूसरों की लाइन मिटाने का एफर्ट से बेटर अपनी लाइन बड़ी करो, लंबी लाइन खींचो अपनी। So this
राइट
goes on a
राइट।
story that if there is a line drawn on a blackboard and somebody says
हम्म।
कि इसको छोटी कैसे करते हैं,
इसका
so you go
हम्म
and draw a bigger line, and like start rubbing out the other ones, and there will be like thousand other lines here.
राइट
You have
राइट
to get up every morning and say that, I'm going to make it happen. Like, I'm the guy, my team is the team, and my product is the product that is going to make a dent in the universe, and you follow that. That is all there is
राइट।
to it. That is only that is what I've learned in my 2 years, and that has helped me retain my sanity.
Right, right. So, I mean, if I like literally summarize this portion, this would come as like ideas are shit until you start executing them.
Yep, yep. I'm not talking only about ideas. Like, there'll be a marketing, so you might be big and somebody just copies your marketing idea, right? So
Right,
just a creative, maybe
right,
the same emailer you see with someone else. This
right.
will happen here. This will happen.
This will
You
happen.
have to be bigger than
Okay,
this.
right. So now this is another question picking out from this part only, where you told ki, you know, keeping the sanity of the conversation and everything, that ki, government way everyone's there to pull your legs, and they might need something, but they don't realize ki on what hope this entrepreneur is hanging on what ropes this guy and what risk this guy is hanging out there. And this is one of the reasons, honestly. Like, I am definitely younger to you, and when I talk to people, and you must be talking to people, I don't know, and probably you would have came around this thought where they say, यार मैं बाहर जाके बिजनेस कर लूंगा या बाहर जाके नौकरी करूंगा, क्यों? बिकॉज एट फर्स्ट थिंग वहाँ पैसे हैं काम के, सेकंड थिंग वहाँ पे इतनी उंगली नहीं होती है।
Yeah, of course, Indian clients are more frugal in their
हम्म
space, no doubt about it. But it also gives you a scope to innovate. So, and I will also say कि यार, uh, there's no wrong in if you want to sell it abroad, right?
No, selling abroad is completely different. But they talk about ki, because the government doesn't support, because there's so many things that there's so many actions that you got to do, because there's so many under the table things that are heard of कि ऐसा होना होता है, ऐसा करना पड़ता है, या कुछ कुछ चीजें करनी पड़ती हैं to get the work done. And बाहर जाके it's straightforward. So why should I go through all this stuff? मैं इतनी उंगली क्यों टेढ़ी करूँ अपने घी में और फिर जाके काम करूँ, when उसके इन कंपैरिजन में बाहर जाके कर लूँ. So इसके बारे में आप क्या बोलोगे? Because you have also worked in good corporate companies. You have already dealt with clients outside. You know the environment outside. So what is your take on this? कि how do you
Here I
convince such
will tell one
entrepreneurs?
thing.
हाँ जी.
Any entrepreneur doing business in a country like in India, right?
Hmm.
He deserves some medal, some award, man. There is no denying about it. There's a lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of loopholes in the legal, in the compliance, in the entirety ecosystem, right? I would say.
Hmm. Hmm.
यार बट लाइफ में हर प्रॉब्लम से भाग तो सकते नहीं हो, कुछ प्रॉब्लम तो फेस करने ही पड़ेंगे.
Right.
एंड मुझे तो ऐसा लगा यार कि ये ऑप्शन तो हमारे पास ऐसा नहीं, आज भी नहीं था यार, लाइक 100% स्कॉलरशिप ऑप्शन टू स्टडी अब्रॉड,
Hmm.
even post MBA, lot of job offers, consulting offers. But यार, would that be something I would want to grow old with? Like मेरा passion था, I wanted to help people out be financially free.
Hmm.
I'm in the business of selling dreams. यार, तुम financially free हो, तुमको जो करना करो. तो मैं क्या कह
Hmm.
रहा हूँ कि कितना, मान लो जैसे मेरे आपके मतलब घर में भी लड़ाई हो जाए या फिर कुछ आसपास पड़ोस गंदा है, तो आप क्या करोगे? वन एट अ टाइम आप
Hmm.
कोशिश करोगे उसे क्लीन करने का. लड़ाइयाँ सॉर्ट
Right.
होती. सो आई एम ऑफ द
Right.
सेम माइंडसेट. आई थिंक दैट maybe nobody in the world would give a damn, and there are a lot of better opportunities abroad. बहुत बार ऐसा होता था कि मैं भी जब ये ब्यूरोक्रेटिक सेटअप से थक जाता था, तो मुझे ऐसा लगता था पता नहीं क्या कर रहा हूँ यार, क्यों स्टार्टअप किया,
Hmm.
भाग जाता हूँ बाहर,
Hmm.
इतना लाइफ इजी है.
Hmm.
But again, as I said, that this is again part of the multi-million uh, pains that you would have to say कि इसके ऊपर भी I will excel, and you do that. So this I took it as one of the other challenges and passed through this.
I guess this is what we need to tell the Indian entrepreneurs, or the Indian people who are wanting to be entrepreneur, that this is going to be a part of the journey. And
Yeah,
instead of running away from it, start building around it. Start learning that how you can use this to your benefit probably, or make a way around it.
यार ये सोचो ना, अगर मान लो देवर 100 ऑब्स्टिकल्स, आप आए,
Hmm.
आपने एक ऑब्स्टिकल क्लीन कर दिया, तो अगला जो एंटरप्रेन्योर बनेगा उसके लिए 99 ऑब्स्टिकल हैं.
Hmm.
किसी ना किसी को तो स्टार्ट करना पड़ेगा, कभी ना कभी तो ये क्लीन होगा ना. आप इसमें पार्ट ले सकते हो, आप इससे चूज कर सकते हो कि नहीं, ये जर्नी मेरे को नहीं करनी.
Hmm.
अगेन, योर चॉइस. We have taken a
Sure.
path. We can also make a HRMS sell international, and we do that. But
Right.
we started it in India. We want Indian
Hmm.
clients, not that we say that नहीं ठीक है, they're not good pay masters, we won't serve it. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है.
Hmm.
बहुत potential है इस देश में, and they're good people who are bettering this ecosystem.
Right, right. But I guess somehow government is also becoming better, and there are good schemes coming out there. Like अभी recently जो MSMEs को फायदा हुआ है, like I have personally seen it with my dad also, that the corona में the increase that they got, so I guess 10 or 20% something. So that is helping out somewhere. So I guess it's just about how you find it. And honestly, if I take some example from my industry, there's this company that I've seen that has got huge amounts of funds from the government just because that was part of MSME. So I guess it's just working the way around.
And it's gonna take time here. देखो,
Hmm.
and I have a different thought to what you just said, Sarthak. कि
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
we are proactive compared to earlier, but we are not
Hmm.
as proactive to the likes of what startup ecosystem of the worlds are, right?
Right,
But again, as I said, if there were 100 obstacles, maybe this government is trying to remove one of them, but there's still 99, and it will take, like as I said, it takes a tribe to raise a kid, right?
right,
So there are a lot of and Indian angels, a lot of VC in the ecosystem. They all have to step up to clean this mess. It is still not a very founder friendly ecosystem, and that's why you see जो survive कर जाते हैं उनको, they are already at a demigod level, right? The Bansals
right,
and all,
right,
because
right, right,
because
right.
people know this anyone, and they would be. and you are a founder yourself, right? And you would have seen
Right.
like at least 10 other founders who had started and who have given up, right? So though they know the struggle of the journey, and the ones who survive, they are in a league of their own.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so coming back to the company, and in your early stages when the product was getting built and when you finally launched the product in 2018 October. So on this part, I guess launch के बाद ही आपकी first sale हुई थी, or did you make your first sale before the launch?
We actually had a lot of sales before the launch, but it was on a freemium model. तो हमने क्या
Okay, it was
किया
on a
था,
premium
हाँ, तो
model.
we weren't making money on such, and in fact
Mm-hmm.
to survive we did a lot of small services also, कि
Mm-hmm.
थोड़ा किसी को कुछ ऐप चाहिए तो वो बना दिया to just survive, because our thought was कि SaaS will be freemium and then
Hmm.
the fintech solutions will be the paid ones, right? It's
Right,
only late March 19, I think so, we started. I mean, when we were financially collapsed, then we said, no, no, we have to survive, and charging for the SaaS is the only way to survive. So it's
right,
only
right.
a year for us to make money now.
Okay, so if I talk about this scenario, and when your product, the dream product, actually came out and it made the first proper transaction, if I say, what was that feeling? What was that hope, and what was that
So we,
mindset
we,
like?
we actually had, I'll give you a parallel. There was a 12 employee company, right? And
Hanji.
and while they were using it, 12 employee company using HRMS और जिसमें time and attendance नहीं सही चल रहा हो, तो you would feel कि you have failed, right?
हाँ,
But so we used to sleep, and rather not sleep. I mean, there were nights we haven't like slept properly, because it's like your first product, and unlike a internal tech, right? It's a front end tech. Like whatever you build will reflect in the front. The world uses it. This, it's a
right,
SaaS solution. So
right,
of course there were sleepless nights, but today we are catering to, I mean, it's very easy for us to cater to a 1200 or even a 12,000 employee company, right? In a year's
right.
time, imagine that journey. 12 people not being able to use the software to 12,000 people easily using the software. Every day is a plus. I mean, if my life's
Yeah,
confidence was lowest in 1st Jan 2019,
हाँ,
1st Jan 20 was like in a different high. And every day, every passing day, even in this COVID, we are like, we are all very positive. We know the capabilities we have built. It's one of the top 10
हाँ,
SMB SaaS. Lot of
right.
attention. We get international client requests, over 200 leads a month. Business is if you have built good products, it will sell for itself.
I can completely understand that. I can completely understand and can completely agree with that. So, listening to this, I feel that when you would have had your first transaction, that would have been like probably on a cloud nine, or maybe even above that, 11, 12, or infinitive that exists.
Yeah, yeah.
And that would have been like a probably a validation for you ki, theek hai, this was all of this was for not for nothing. It
This,
has to be
yeah, yeah,
something,
yeah. Of course, this has to
and
be something.
I am there. I am there. अब इसके आगे I can put on that rocket booster and just push it.
बिल्कुल
So I
वैसे ही
can
होता है. Are
completely
you,
understand
trying
that.
to recall your first transaction? It would have been a
No,
statement, I
no,
can imagine.
no. My first transaction, if I honestly talk about, my first transaction was for 1500,
Oh,
and I that was the point when I shot for a, so there's this DU college DRC. उनका वो होना था that they had their farewell party. So that was the thing that I covered, and that was like my first proper transaction. I was like, okay, if this can happen, then I can take it even further. So that, yeah, that was a very different feeling altogether. Very different feeling. I did get my validation key. Yes, I can do something out of it. So I was like, let's do it. So yeah, that was a complete different feeling. So if I go ahead, Mayank, if I want to talk about one of the biggest failures that you faced in your this journey, what would it be, and what did it teach you?
biggest failure.
Right.
I don't know. I've never thought about we failed anywhere in this journey. This is the natural growth path. Things I could have done better for sure,
Mhm.
but I
Mhm.
haven't. There's nothing at the top of my mind. I feel Sarthak that we would have failed. Maybe raising funds, but I don't think that as a failure. So
Or something that went wrong, if not exactly a failure, something that went wrong or
oh
was a
yes,
huge
I told you
hiccup.
the making the SaaS as free was a big setback.
Mhm.
October 18, we had already exhausted our the crore worth of funds and the funds we had raised from angels. So uh, I should have started pricing at day zero. It was only when I
Mhm.
lost some of the people because of I wasn't able to pay for them.
Mhm.
Then came the setback that lot has been lost. We need to price it now. That was one thing.
That is one thing I can understand. Okay, tell me something, man. Like like I'm talking to people and I literally get to hear this that we never say that someone left, or we always say that it's a loss of a person. I mean, it's not technically loss, but it's a loss of someone who's leaving the company. So what does it instill in you? Because when I talk about myself, I'm like, there's an asset, there's a person, there's a family member who has left, and there's a part of the company which needs to be rebuilt. That is what I feel. What is it that you feel, and how do you deal with it?
Well, if I put it into overall attrition, we have a 0% attrition, Sarthak. The people who
Hmm.
left, I got them back when I had the money.
Okay.
Yep, I was very clear. So this team, I love it because, and I would try to retain this team. So that was a thought. But yes, when people
Hmm.
leave you, so till now nobody has left us as such. We have asked people to go, but because of financial reasons, when they weren't able to, continue with us, the only emotion I felt was, I mean, it's never about the end result. It's only about the journey. And when you reach the end, you
Hmm.
need those people who were there in the journey, or else this journey was, it wouldn't matter.
I mean, you definitely need someone to celebrate that journey with.
Yeah, and as I told you, and you would have realized by now that the so-called friends from your corporate careers and many of people wouldn't be around much. So you would be left with a still a handful of them, and they have seen like ups and lows of your life, and startup
Hmm.
is as good a personal life as good it is a professional life to you. So they are
Right.
your colleagues, they are your friends, they are your experience sharing platform, everything. They are your cushion. I
Then
tell this to everyone that many a times. No, when I told my friends, and some of them weren't in a capacity to say pay me or rather help me out. I say this that many times you don't need financial, you don't need anything, any materialistic thing. You just need someone
this, so
with you. You say कि तेरे पीछे मैं हूं ना, तो चिंता क्यों कर रहा है? बस इतना ही होता है. इसके आगे तो आप कर लेते हो.
actually, इसके आगे आप कर सकते हो. It's just that I mean, it's not even. I wouldn't. I guess I shouldn't even say emotional support. Honestly, if I would say, I guess only these words matter. कि तू
या या
मैं तेरे पीछे हूं ना, तू कर ले. Only these
बिल्कुल.
words matters. Someone
एंड
saying
आई
those
टोल्ड यू जब मेरे
words.
पास सैलरीज नहीं थी, ये
Hmm.
तो बोलने की बात है, जब मुझे जरूरत
हाँ
पड़ी,
जी.
मतलब
हाँ.
आई कैन रिमेम्बर अ डे इन व्हिच यू आई हैड टू एक्चुअली से कि पेटीएम कर, आई हैव टू गो बैक होम, लाइक आई जस्ट टोल्ड यू दैट, राइट? तो
Right.
यू एंड यू आर लकी यू हैव सम ऑफ दीस कि कम से कम ये सब के लिए तो नहीं सोचना.
Right. Right, right, right. We need to have good friends. That's must in that case. Okay, so Mayank, going ahead, now the business is picking up and things are go in a good direction. So what are your plans ahead? How do you plan to scale up? How do you plan to invest if you're planning to invest? So what are your money management plans for the future? What are your plans for the business ahead?
Okay, so first thing first,
Hmm.
we are very aggressive as a company with a sales and
Hmm.
a marketing funnel. Uh, the first plan is to invest heavily in marketing. So
Okay.
do throw off ideas, Sarthak, if you know how SaaS moves, but we are looking to be a good marketing player in the space. We want to increase our
Hmm.
200 MQLs to around 1,000.
Right.
And of course, all the engines are though automated. We need a lot of ideation or rather creative to build this. this funnel perennial, that whatever happens, even if Mayank or maybe the marketing person is not around, the funnel ensures that you get those 1,000 leads, right? that
Right,
is
right.
that is where the investment is. And I tell this to everyone, right? Supply is never going to be an issue, which means your product and tech, right? You will have people who will take care of it. What you need
Hmm.
is a business, right? Your demand has to
Hmm.
be sorted. So we have
Right.
invested heavily building pipelines, and now, as I said, like 2 years down the line from starting day zero, we,
Hmm.
even if I say like mine stops coming to our office, the business will survive perennial. I'm very proud to say it now, because we have got partners, we have got pipelines who are ensuring that Zimyo gets business every month on month. So I'll invest more on those international pipelines even. We are signing
Wow.
up at international partners. We just signed a partner in Africa, one in US. So this has to go. I mean, this has to, I mean, give us much higher returns, and the more we make, the more we invest back on this funnels.
That's great. I'm so glad that I'm talking to you and listening to this. I'm very, very glad. Okay, okay, okay. So, Mayank, what? Okay, I really want to know this now. At this point, when things are have started literally turning out the way you expect them, how is your family support now? What do they say, and what do those rishtadars say, and what's the thing like?
Yeah, it's a very different emotional ballgame altogether. So I was
Huh?
already, if you have tracked, I am back in my state, right? You're already some star. So you
Right.
and all these. Other Sharma ji ka ladka is you now, right? Everyone is saying ki, you have to look at Mayank and see how he's doing. And now that the best thing about what I've done is there are a lot of entrepreneurship coming up in my neighborhood where I used to stay. There are a lot of people
Hmm.
picking up to take commerce, seeing me as an inspiration, right? This is a
Uh,
big revelation for me even. And the good thing about where we are going to make a dent is that, as I say, I'm looking forward to build this ecosystem here. I'm a big believer in ecosystem. We have been mentored by one of the best people in the industry. We're part of
mhm,
Rupika, we are part of Reliance Yojanex, GSF, Haryana government, IMI, Atal Mission Yojana, Google for Startups with 91 Springboards for our Google Advisors program, with IMI, with NVIDIA. So there were a lot of people who have mentored us in this journey to reach here, right? And now as I'm talking to you, I know that my business is just going to go millions to maybe in some time to a billion too, right? So right now sitting here, I know that this is now done. The next level will take a new level of Mayank altogether. But while
right,
I'm doing that, I'm going to ensure that we support this ecosystem. And me and you talked about it at length, like even the bureaucratic,
right,
the startup ecosystem. We
right.
want to be a propellant of it. I do not yet know in what capacity. Maybe if
Mhm,
I make good money, maybe I can give out time to support, talk to a lot of industry facilitators to mentor startups. I do not know yet, but
mhm.
the future looks great for the Indian startup ecosystem, and I want to be a contributor to that. That's all the thought there is.
Honestly, listening to this, I'm getting goosebumps. And there's one thing which I want to tell the listeners, whosoever listens to this, guys. There is this thing that I have repeated in my previous podcast also, and I'm going to repeat this again. That a lot of people have the intention to help, and they go out trying to help many times, even when they don't have anything. It's a very good intention. I wouldn't deny the fact, but many people sometimes kill themselves while trying to help. I don't think, in my personal opinion, that's not a good idea. Now, when talking to Mayank, and if you look at what Mayank is going to do and what the plans he has, I guess that is where you can help in a very better and bigger capacity, and which is going to give you even more peace than what could have given you earlier. There was a struggle that he has gone through, and he will be going through ahead. उस struggle के बाद he is making something, and then he's planning to give it back. And that is what, if you listen to my other podcast, you'll get to know that you know every entrepreneur who is aiming bigger than life motives, everyone has a similar goals. You can't give back enough until you have enough. So, Mayank, if you want to
Words
add something
well
to
said.
this,
Words well said, Sarthak. I second that.
thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so Mayank, I want to go ahead a bit in this, and I want to know, like, if there's a mantra that you want to tell the listeners, that your business mantra is something out there, what would it be?
Well, I heard somewhere when Naveen Tiwari, founder of InMovie, said that
Right.
startup is like you are in a boxing ring. Your hands
Mm-hmm.
are tied, and somebody is punching you very hard on the face, and you have to
Okay.
still keep getting up till he tires out. Okay, so this was a good
Right.
quote, and I want to say this to everyone: it's not as easy and not as cool as you think, right? Just gear up for it. And there are a lot of people who are going to give up on you, but you have to get up every morning and not give up on you, your dream, your belief in what you're building. That is going to change everything. And every day by day, when you don't give up, that is when you win. And there will come a time when you don't even have to think about people not being there. They will be there. Everyone will work for you. And India fantastically is like, if India wins cricket match, everyone is India is great. If they lose, oh my god, who taught him batting, right? So just think this:
uh,
don't give up on your dreams, and there will be a time when people have no option but to believe in you. Yeah, till then just keep fighting. That's all.
that's the absolute truth, and I guess that's what many people need to understand, that it's just about standing up again and again and again, and not quitting.
Yep.
Oh my god. So that I guess I'm not left with much of the questions, but because I've got a lot from your journey, and but I would directly straightforward put this up. If there's one instance that that has stayed with you forever in this journey,
Yeah.
and you would want to share it with us,
Yeah, so
any
there was
instance
a
it could
time
be.
when we had financially crumpled, and my team, I hadn't paid my team for like some months of salary, and I had a 500,000 offer from an investor. But
Okay.
yeah, he was making me, beg even for some signs and many a things. And I went to my team, right, and I told them, money is good. मतलब 3.5 crore, 500,000, it's good amount. We can survive. Like, what do you say, guys? I personally believe this is not the fund. And somebody said to me, and I want to recite it. बोला, सर हमने आज ही ले लिया ना पैसे, तो हम जिंदगी भर टूट जाएंगे, हम अपने बिलीफ पे नहीं रहेंगे। अगर हम अपने दम पे, मतलब विदाउट रिक्वेस्टिंग हिम, अगर उसको इतना पैशन लग रहा है हमारे आइडिया पे, तो वो वैसे भी इन्वेस्ट करेगा। ये नहीं आएगा, कोई और आएगा। तो द थॉट ऑफ abundance that I'm trying to say, Sarthak, it
Mm-hmm.
it was, I got it from my team. So two things to take away from here, from this instant, is you have to find people who see in you. So if my team was seeing that, the investor was not, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
will have to find people who believe in you and who don't make you like beg or maybe make you request.
Hmm.
So that incident was very defining for me कि इतने crisis में भी, and I'm very happy today that we didn't take that, क्योंकि
Okay.
we would have just been like a slave to that fund, right?
Right, right, right.
So the biggest learning, that learning I wanted to take away, that believe in the people. And there's a line which Sridhar Vembu says, dance with the girl who wants to dance with you. So it might be for your team. So in this instant, two things came out: that my team was with
Huh.
me and the investor was
Right.
not. So dance with the one who wants to dance with you. Find the team, find the people who are ready to slog, or rather breathe this dream with you, and find the investors slash advisors who see merit in your dream. Yeah, that's all. That's my takeaway from this particular instant.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, that is one hell of a team that you have. Kudos to you, and
Yeah,
kudos to
yeah.
the team.
Yes.
Definitely. Okay, so I guess we're with that we're at the end of the podcast. So Guys, this was Kumar Mayank with us, and he's running the fintech HR brand company out there. Definitely, they're providing so many services जितना मुझे याद भी नहीं होगा इस वक्त और मैं कुछ ना उस पर उठ पटांग करके अलग गलत तो मैं बोल दूंगा. So it's best I keep it simple. Fintech HR brand that they're trying to run, and it's a huge SaaS company, which is definitely gonna make a name and fame. I'm pretty sure about that. And
Thank you.
Mike, if you wanna add anything to it,
Yeah, I want to add that first, I want to thank you, Sarthak, for inviting me for the podcast. And
thank you so
for
much.
anyone out here who is here at 1:10, 1 hour 10 minutes later, that thank you for listening it out to me and to Sarthak. You would have been a wonderful audience for this. Yes, over to you, Sarthak.
Okay, thank you, Mayank. Mayank, is there any I don't know, like if this works in SaaS or not, but if there's any coupon code or something that you would like to give our
Oh,
listeners to
yes,
so
yes.
that when they
Anybody listening out to this podcast, because you've reached so far and because you see merit in what we are trying to do here, there's a special coupon for you. Just say Zimyo 50 when you would be signing up, and you will get a 50% off on our solutions, all these SaaS solutions. No, no questions
oh
asked.
my god,
Yes. But
guys,
that's the
this
secret that stays with us, Sarthak. You don't have to spell it out. I want people to reach to this point to get this.
no, I wouldn't spell it out. Honestly, I wouldn't spell it out. Listeners, this is amazing, dude. I mean, if I'll definitely go out and check this out once at least. So
Sure.
I've already known that Zimmy is providing all the loans and all those stuff funding out there in terms of HR and I'm so sorry मैं फिर mess up कर दूंगा but I will check this out definitely.
Done.
With that, I want to thank you Mayank for taking out time and coming on the show. Thanks a lot. This has been a really insightful and inspirational talk regarding all those risks, the balls, the daring stuff that you have done, and the way you have come out of it, keeping yourself together, inspiring the team, inspiring yourself, keeping yourself motivated is really insightful for us. Thanks a
Right.
lot.
Right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye bye. I'll see you. I hope that you're able to take back something insightful from this podcast and apply it in your life to be a better version of yourself and add to your Dhandho Soch. If you know someone whom you think should feature on my podcast and has a very inspiring entrepreneurial journey, then do drop me a DM on my Instagram SarthakVarshney. Sarthak Varshney. Yeah, that's me. I'm the founder of SV Clicks and SV Clicks is the producer of this show. You can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn as well with the same name. If you're willing to listen to more of such unheard, inspiring stories of the entrepreneurs, then don't forget to follow us by pressing that follow button on your podcast screen. Thank you for being such an amazing audience. Keep learning, keep growing. We'll be back soon. See ya.